Oh, no.
Really well in on the Dean where I was Cecil Barlow, but I remember the whole tally somehow. Thought it would be here. Okay,
Well, we
well,
gotta
wait
get
just a couple
started,
minutes, I'll
so-
go grab another tally really quick.
Okay. And we'll get started. All right.
Get this on.
Okay, you ready?
Yep, get this right on there.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good to see some of you I haven't seen in a while. So a few more people coming in, and I know that we'll have more folks arriving in just a while. It's always nice that when we get to be together for Shabbat. Shabbat is a beautiful day, not only just to take a rest. The Torah portion this week talks about the importance of rest, not just for us, but for everything in our world, but also to be able to appreciate those we have in our lives and all that we have in our world. We're going to begin on page 128 with Mayafe Hayom. Now we will turn, because we don't just want Shabbat to be a day of beauty, because nothing can be beautiful unless it's peaceful. So we're going to turn to page 142, making this a Shabbat full of peace, asking for peace upon all of us. Shalom Aleichem. Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Seidem Shalom, Alei Shalom, Malei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlamim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Aleichem, Malei Shalom,
Malei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlamim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Turn to page 138 for Lecha Dodi. And Shabbat, we know, is a time for celebration. It's almost like a wedding, watching God and Shabbat come together, and for all of us, we get to be the participants enjoying. And so let's do that again, page 138, Lecha Dodi.
Shabbat
Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, ishmiyan v'el hamchad,
Adonai echad, Shemo echad, Shem Tiferet v'Elah. Lecha Dodi Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala,
b'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lehu v'nelcha, ki mikor habracha,
Elosh Mikem Yitzvucha, Sof Maasim Machshavat Hira. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela,
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Oreri, Kiva Oren, Uri, Shir Daveri, Yevaran Ayalai Nikwa. Lecha Dodi,
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela,
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the entrance to greet Shabbat with verse 9.
Vayit Shalom Eretz Bara, Gam b'simcha u'b'tzala, Kach emrei am sigula, Ba'ichala, Ba'ichala, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela,
Lecha Dodi likrat kala.
B'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Now that we've greeted Shabbat, let's take a moment to greet one another and maybe wish somebody a Shabbat Shalom, somebody you don't know or somebody you haven't seen in a while. And when you hear the music playing, we'll resume our service. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you. Shabbat. I see that we have a lot of students, young people here tonight. If you are a young person, I guess that's up to interpretation. If you are a student in our Rafi Schwartz Religious School, or you're just a student in general, if you're a kid in general, and you would like to come up here for the lighting of the Shabbat candles, I'd love to invite you up. Come on up. I'd love all the kids to come on up here to help me light our Shabbat candles. So great to see so many of you. Careful on those steps. All right. Ready? Hey, guys, you ready? Thank you so much, students. We turn to page 144 for the Hatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה
יתברך
נתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמה ואמרו
Amen. We rise for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, page 146. Tonight, one of the things that we're celebrating is our teachers. And one of the blessings that I really enjoy is the Mari Varvim. And one of the reasons why is because it talks about how our mind is given the ability to distinguish day from night. And our mind is a wonderful thing. It's an amazing gift that we have. And our teachers, by extension of that, are amazing as well because they're the ones who let us use that gift to its fullest potential and give us new ways to distinguish new things and understand more about the world that we live in. And so we will say you're welcome to join me on page 148 as we read the translation of the Mariv Arvi. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari Arari.
150. Page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם.
So, what we learned when we were standing on the edge of the sea. When we were standing on the edge of the sea, Gator, how about you just pass the basket around? So, that way. Thank you. So, when we were standing on the edge of the sea, had the people not experienced the wondrous things that God could do, well, they wouldn't have had the faith to cross the sea. They would have said, we're staying back in Egypt, which many of them considered. But in that moment, the people of Israel had drawn inspiration because they had learned about something greater than themselves. They had been taught by Moshe Rabbeinu, which means essentially Moses, our ultimate teacher, Moses, our rabbi. They were taught by him and by the actions of God about God. And so they were able to grow and develop in this faith and see something so much bigger than themselves. And in that moment, they saw three things that led them to cross the sea. They saw a potential for a better tomorrow. They saw each other's humanity and wanting that better tomorrow, not just for themselves, but for everybody else. But they had also come to learn about God. This was, in essence, the very first Jewish education that our people had, if you think about it as a whole, about learning about who we are as a faith. And so as they crossed that sea, they called out a question that they might have actually not known the answer to just weeks earlier, which is, who is like you, Adonai, our God? A few weeks earlier, they might not know, because they did not know even who God was. Moses said, how do I even explain you to the people? But in that moment, they knew the answer when they asked that question, that the answer was that there's nobody like God, and hopefully everyone can someday feel that same incredible feeling of freedom that our people did as well. We are on page 158 as we sing the Micha Mocha, and you can shake your shakers also.
Micha Mocha ba'ilin Adonai, Micha Mocha nega nakonet, Nora tehilot v'tei tele, Nora tehilot oseh Malchut hara u'fanecha, Okei hayam mipnei Moshe mi'am, Ze'ei יעלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, קהל ישראל.
Turn to the Hashkivenu, our prayer asking God to watch over all of us as we go down to sleep tonight, and hopefully we can wake up tomorrow to a more peaceful world. 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath your wings, oh Adonai. Keep us safe from harmful things, oh Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך.
One of the things that we learn is the teaching that more than the Jewish people kept Shabbat, it's Shabbat that has kept the Jewish people. And Shabbat is such a wonderful, wonderful thing that we have. I mean, if you think, I didn't really appreciate Shabbat, I don't think, until the pandemic, when every day felt like it was the same day, and I didn't even know it's today Wednesday, it's today Monday, and Shabbat was a time to reflect and be grounded in that. And so I see a lot of families here tonight. I hope that you all can do something to make Shabbat meaningful if you're not doing it already. Whether it's come here every Friday night and sing and pray with us and know that this is your night. Once Hebrew school is over, this is your night to do Jewish communal things together. Or whether that is having dinner with your family and friends and saying, this is a time when we don't have the TV on, where we don't have our cell phones out, where we connect with each other. Or, I don't know, even if it's just lighting candles on a night where you wouldn't do that any other night. It's important to remember that Shabbat is special, and so are we. And so let's sing about that with Vishamru at the top of page 162.
ושמרו עיני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, את דורות המריבה. ושמרו עיני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, את דורות המריבה. They knew that
rise for the Amidah, page 164.
That my mouth may declare your praise. La 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים הטובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מחכה חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך מלך ממי ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue, page 172 through 180, or you can use this as an opportunity for your own private prayers, and when you are finished, at your discretion, you may be seated. we turn now to page 371 for our prayer for healing, thinking of those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. Mishaberach.
This version is based on that version on 371. Mishaberach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mishaberach Imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, and Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
This week we think of these members of our community and their loved ones. Kitalea bat Masha Chana, Chaim Yosef ben Shana Libby, Gila Haya bat Mordechai Leib, Vigila Leah, Aharon ben Avram Vasara, David ben Mordechai, Saul Howragi, Jennifer Collins, Mary Jane Levy Dixon, Thomas Dixon, David Dowsett, Yitzhak Vigilski, Will Goldman, Melissa Jensen, Sharon Katz, Jeffrey W. Levy, Megan Magleby, Janice Morley, Shari Pedersen, Andrew Sanders, Shumei Shi, Penny Spector, Josie Wiedner, and Judy Wolf. If you have a name to add when I look in your direction, you're welcome to share with our community. John? Mimi. Pete. Delete. Greg. If you're watching at home, thank you for joining us. If you have a name to share, you can say it this time as well.
Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Mishaberach Avoteinu, Avraham,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we are reaching the end of the year for religious school. Oh, one of the students clapped. I know. If you need any counseling over not having Hebrew school over summer, let me know. I'll give you private Torah lessons, I promise. But we are reaching the end of the year for our religious school. And I remember as a kid going to religious school, going to Hebrew school, that there was one thing we did at the end of every year. A really popular thing, and for some reason over the last 10 years, every synagogue I've worked at has not been as popular, maybe because we're moving to a cashless society, was I remember my dad every week would give me $1, and I would put that dollar in the tzedakah box for my class. And at the end of the year, we would count up all the money in our class's tzedakah box, and there was usually a few $100s in it. And then we would talk about what we should do with that money. Where should we give it? And inevitably, there would be one student who would say, David would say, we should give the money to the Jewish Federation of Greater Seattle. The Jewish Federation gives us money for camp scholarships so we can go to summer camp. They give money to the Klein-Gallon Home for the Aged so that older Jewish people can have programs. They do so much to help the Jewish community. That's where we should give our tzedakah money. And then there'd be another student, Rachel or somebody, who would say, that's so selfish, David. We shouldn't just be helping Jewish people. We should give our money to the Seattle Symphony. We have this great symphony and everyone likes music. It's not just Jewish people who like music. Everybody likes music. We should give the money to them. And that way everyone will benefit. And then another student would say, Rachel, that's not a good way to spend the money. You're spending the money on music when there are starving people out there in the world. And you know what I've heard? Sure, we have poor people here in Seattle, but Africa is really poor, and there's more people there who need help. We should give our money to some organization that helps people in Africa. Well, all those are wonderful things to give tzedakah to. In a way, they were all right. How should we give our tzedakah? Well, what we learn in the Talmud is that the responsibility for giving tzedakah first goes to your family, and then to the Jewish community, and then to the Jews who are in Israel, and then the Jews who are in the diaspora, and then the rest of the world, is what the Talmud says. And somebody who exemplified this was a former prime minister of the state of Israel, Menachem Begin. Now, some of you, I see some Israelis here, so some of you might know Menachem Begin, or certainly remember him. And Menachem Begin, what was his reputation as a person? Was Menachem Begin Mr. Warm and Fuzzy? No, not so much. In fact, there are a lot of Begin stories that if there weren't a bunch of kids here, I would tell you to exemplify just how not warm and fuzzy he was. And when Menachem Begin first became prime minister of Israel in 1977, one of the first things that Begin did was that he said, we are going to bring Vietnamese boat people, refugees, to Israel. And people asked, why, Menachem Begin? Why are you doing this? You have always been focused first and foremost on the Jewish people. You're a particularist. Why are you thinking of folks who aren't Jewish? Shouldn't you be prioritizing the Jewish people? And what Menachem Begin's response was, I've spent my whole life fighting for the Jewish people. I've spent my whole career advocating for Israel and a strong Israel and for the Israeli people. And we are strong. We are good. And we have now that we're safe, because keep in mind, this was after the Yom Kippur War, and for the first time, really, Israel had built up, shown a military might that it really could not be defeated. That's why, really, since the Yom Kippur War, there's been numerous wars Israel has fought, but not in the same way. Like the wars, Yom Kippur War and prior, were very much, if Israel lost those wars, there would be no Israel. And the wars since 1973 have been different. Begin said, we are in a different place now. We have made it so that we are a strong country. We have made it so that the Jews of the Arab lands and the Jews of Eastern Europe have found refuge here. We are now in a position, since we've taken care of our own, to be able to reach out and help others. And what this exemplified was what we learned in the Torah this week, in Parshat Behar. One of the things that we are taught is that if a family member of ours, somebody close to us, is in trouble, or they're in financial trouble, and to the degree that they are forced to sell their land, it is the responsibility, if they're able to do so, of the relatives closest to them to purchase that land and keep it in the family until they can buy it back. And further, the Torah expands on that and says that if you have somebody in your family, somebody close to you, who is suffering financially, you aren't supposed to take joy in that, and you're not supposed to take advantage of that. And whereas, where this whole claim of Jews often, controlling banks or whatever comes from, is that in the Middle Ages we were forced into the practice of usury, since Christians did not allow that among themselves, and that was something that was allowed within Jewish law. What the Torah says is you cannot charge interest on your family members. So what do we learn from this? What is the Torah teaching us this week? The Torah is trying to teach us that family is important. And when I say family, that doesn't necessarily mean blood relatives. Maybe many of us know the experience of having somebody who is not related to us, but they're still our family, or maybe we've had experiences of somebody who is blood related to us who has stopped acting like a family member to us, and we no longer share that closeness. Well, one of the things that attracted me to coming to Salt Lake City, because I was being asked this today, what led you to come to Salt Lake City of all places? One of the things that led me here was my family. And who do I mean by that? Well, before I lived here, I grew up in Seattle. And in Seattle, other than my immediate family, we had no relatives. My mom's sister lived, I guess, an hour away or so. But not many relatives. And then I moved to San Diego, and I knew nobody there. And then I moved to Los Angeles. I moved to Jerusalem. No family in Jerusalem. Everybody else had a cousin in Jerusalem or in Israel somewhere. I had nobody. Then I moved to LA. I had nobody. And I didn't know a single person in Salt Lake City. But what I was told was different about Salt Lake City when I was asking about this community. Is I was told that most of us here are transplants. Most of us here don't have parents to go to Rosh Hashanah dinner to, or cousins to spend Passover Seder with. We become each other's family. And in getting to know this community, I've gone to see that firsthand. And so, for us, what we can take from the Torah this week is, yes, we are supposed to help those closest to us first, but not neglect everybody else. But that we have a responsibility, just as now I'm a father, and I'm supposed to be there for all the kids in this community, but my priority is first and foremost to my daughter. What we learn from the Torah this week is that our priority first and foremost is to those closest to us. And here I often think that that's our Jewish community. Those are the people who are with us when we're in trouble. Those are the people who are with us when we are celebrating. And so what I would encourage all of us to do is not only to help, but a way we can help is by looking at the good, seeing the holiness in each other, seeing the holiness in our community, seeing that maybe things that even frustrate us are why is that decision being made? Why is that happening? Oh, maybe it's because somebody's trying to help me. And I think when we're able to look and see that holiness in each other, And we're able to say, first and foremost, I'm going to look for the good, and I'm going to look for ways that I can help this community and my family, then we are fulfilling that message in the Torah. So may we all do that, and may we all go from strength to being stronger. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May that be God's will, and may that be what we all do. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. We are going to, at this time, I'm going to turn to some announcements. Thank you for being here. I want to say thank you, Cantor, for leading alongside me. And thank you to our wonderful teachers that I see here of the Rosh P. Shorts Religious School. You all, it's been wonderful to be and teach in your classrooms this year, and I've gotten to see firsthand how amazing our students are, as well as especially our teachers. And I will tell you, I've worked in a lot of religious schools. I don't think I've seen at any religious school the quality of teachers and education that I see here. Thank you to you all. Special shout out to Tracy Plotkin, our Teacher of the Year here. But you all are great. You all are great. It was a very competitive race. But special shout out to Tracy. Give her a little acknowledgement this year. And also to our other staff that I see here as well, our Executive Director, Danny Berman, Lana Stoddard, good to see you, our Communications Director, and Tamara Kipper also. I want to give a special shout out to Tamara. Tamara's really been sort of, well, we'll acknowledge the rest of y'all in a moment, but Tamara really, so this is Tamara's second year with us, and the first year was completely in lockdown. This year, she had to navigate challenges. I know she would have loved to have religious school every day, but the COVID task force said, it's not safe for a couple of months, and we had to disrupt things, and she was told to disrupt things for that time, and there were unique challenges in that way, and while she was kind of still learning on the job. And Tamara, I thought, beautifully led our teachers this year, and always had a smile on her face, always seemed excited to be here, and I will say that I've never had a year of religious school that I thought was better organized, with teachers getting contracts back in July, and everybody in regular meetings and always checking in. Tamara, you're a real gift to us. I hope everybody recognizes that and appreciates that as much as I do, and sees how hard you work. So following our service, if you have RSVP'd for dinner, please join us in the social hall. And please join us tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. It will be a very special day because we are having the B'nai Mitzvah of Rain Weinstein at 9:30, and it's going to be a reform service. Rain is a part of the LGBTQ community. Sorry? Oh, everybody can come to dinner. Good. Hooray. Even if you didn't RSVP, we got enough food for everyone. So feel free to stick around for dinner. So Rain is part of the LGBTQ community, and their family underwrote 100 copies of this beautiful Siddur Sha'ar Zahav, which is an LGBTQ-inspired reform Siddur. And so through a couple other donors, we got an additional 50 copies of this, and we'll be using this Siddur for the first time tomorrow. So come check that out. It's a really special community that we have here. And speaking of this Siddur, one of the people who helped contribute to making sure we got this is one of the contributing editors in Salt Lake City native, Marty Tannenbaum. And Marty is, who's a third-generation Utahn, is going to join us via Zoom at 6:30 on May 31st to explore this new Siddur and take us through it and teach us about it. And this is a wonderful, Marty told me this will be a really interesting evening, whether you're a part of the queer community or you are not. If you are very traditional, and maybe some of this might put you outside your comfort zone, he said this will be a wonderful evening for anybody to kind of learn more about what Jewish prayer means and how Jewish prayer connects to your life. So I hope you join us for that. This Sunday is the last day of religious school. And so religious school will begin at 9, and then at 10:30 we'll come together for an assembly and our end-of-the-year barbecue. And tomato plants are available again. You can order them online, and they can be picked up that day at the synagogue as well, with all proceeds benefiting our religious school. So we're looking for a couple more hosts still for our summer Shabbatot, which are famously, we are resuming after a couple-year hiatus, that are famously in people's backyards and homes. I am very excited because our first one will be June 24th at my house. I can't wait to host a lot of you for that. And just so you know, too, our preschool and our religious school are growing, and we're looking for more teachers and teachers' aides. Let us know if you are interested in that. And those are our announcements. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for all you do. And I know Dove and Beth and Rissa are all in the back helping make dinner, maybe some other folks. We're grateful to all of you. Thank you. I'm going to invite up Tamara at this time. I know that she has some things and some gifts for our teachers, and we'll be calling you up. So Tamara, come on over here.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you all so much for coming out tonight to honor the teachers and the TAs of the Rafi Schwartz Religious School. And as Rabbi said, even though COVID did come and take over a couple months of our school year, it actually did turn out to be a great year. And all the teachers have everything to do with that. And I would like to call up Tracy Plotkin.
Tracy.
Come on up here, Tracy. Tracy Plotkin is our Teacher of the Year. So every year we pick a teacher that has gone above and beyond and has been very dedicated, and this year it is Tracy Plotkin. Here's a little gift for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How about teachers, after we call your
Yeah.
name, stay up here for a little bit.
Our next teacher is our kindergarten teacher, Gail Kaplan.
Hey, Gail. Gail, what year was this? How many years have you taught here? 20? I thought it was more than that. It's been a long time. Thank you, Gail.
Here you go. Our 3rd and 4th grade Hebrew teacher, Galit. Come on up, Galit.
Thanks, Galit. And Galit, I think this was your first year, right? Second year. Sorry, I don't even know. Last year was a blur. So, well, you've been first year I've seen you in the building. Wonderful to have you.
Our 3rd and 5th grade Judaic Studies teacher, Adam. Adam's also been here for how many years? A lot.
A long time. There you go, Adam.
There you go.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. David Asman, who teaches 6th grade Hebrew and Tro. Among many other things.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful job.
And our 5th grade Hebrew teacher and helps out in the 3rd grade as well, Mazal.
Mazal.
This person is our community shlicha, Talia Goldberg. Come on up, Talia. She has done an enrichment program all year long by doing cooking projects with the kids, and they love that because who doesn't love to eat while in class?
And Talia's been here for a few years, extending here because of COVID, and staying an extra year, and she's been such a gift. And you're going back to Israel. We will visit you, I promise. What a loss for us. You've been such a gift to our whole community. Thank you, Talia.
I like to call up Matan. He is one of our TAs.
Come on,
There you go, Matan.
Oh, my God,
He
yay.
helped out in the second grade classroom and in the fifth grade classroom.
Yay, my
Judea.
time.
All right.
Yay.
There you go, Matan. You get some flowers too.
I'm going to call up Gabe,
Yay, Gabe.
another wonderful TA.
Are we allowed to have this many blessings up here?
There you go.
And Kaya Plotkin.
Kaya.
The whole Plotkin family.
Yeah.
Minus the child.
And let's see. And we know some of our teachers aren't here this evening, but we're grateful to all of them. And Tamara, like I said, we're very grateful to you. And so here's some flowers for you as well. Works. Like I said, this woman puts in about 50 hours a week into our religious school. But I'm so impressed with not only what she's done, but I can see what she's going to do. And it's just going to go from better to better to better every year. Did you have anything else you want to say?
Nope, I just want to
So-
thank you all so much for a great year.
Stay on up here for a second, because
Yep.
rabbis always have something more to say. And so we would like to give you some blessings. So first, I'll say, we learn from Mishnah Avot, let the honor of your student be as dear to you as your own, the honor of your companion as great as the awe you feel for your teacher, and the awe for your teacher as great as your fear of heaven. Mishabera Havotenu V'imotenu, may the one who blessed our sages and teachers in every generation bless and guide the teachers of our congregation, sustain them in their dedication and diligence to our students and to our school and students. May they be ever curious and inspired to learn as well as to teach. And may they inspire their students with the love of Jewish learning throughout their lives. May this congregation always support its teachers so that they can be a light to our community and effective messengers of your Torah. Grant them openness for each and every student who comes their way. Guide us all in sharing with them our appreciation for all they do, for they are holy vessels in your service and guardians of our future. Baruch atah Adonai, hamelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who instructs our people Israel in the ways of Torah. And we learn in Pirkei Avot as well that everybody is supposed to acquire two people in their lives, a friend and a teacher. And I think that for so many of our students, I see their affection for you. I think for our students can say that from the people on this FEMA and those who couldn't be here tonight, that they certainly have acquired those friends and teachers, thanks to you. And we have a song to sing for you as well.
For our teachers and their students and the students of the students, we ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. And for those who study Torah here and everywhere, may they be blessed with all they need, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen.
Amen. Thank you, teachers. And as you're up here already, I'll invite you to open the ark, and we are going to turn to page 586 for Elenu. And please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגוי הרצון, ולא שמנו ממשפחות ההגנה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגר עלינו לכל המנה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים עמדים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ.
You all turn to your seats. Thank you.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
You may be seated. At this time, we think of those whom death has recently taken from us, and those who have died in this season, in years past, and those who we draw into our hearts with our own as we remember them. If you hear the name of a loved one, I invite you to rise upon hearing that name. In the period of Shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning, we remember our member and mother of Andrew Gruber, Connie Gruber. And we also remember Evelyn Victor Osherow, mother of Jackie Osherow. And this week we commemorate the following Yortzites, anniversary of the passing of these loved ones. Tima Agus, Frank Braun, Charlotte Dane Brodke, Isidore Cantor, Anthony Tony Cook, Nelda Daly, Mauricio Dolfano, Fred Elster, Rose Filer, Karen Philstead, David Geldzaller, Kay Glow, Marvin Goldberg, James Hammond, Harry Karasik, Fanny Karasik, Rachel Levy, Abbott Lipsky, Vladimir Mikhnovich, David Miro, Herman Ottenheimer, Frankie Pratt, Charles Price, Bernice Rowe, Lena Rosen, Samuel Ross, Sophia J. Schroeder, Jacob Siegelbaum, Fanny Boots Spitzer, Clara Teutsch, and Ida White. And if you have a name to add when I look in your direction, you're invited to rise and share that name with our community. If you are watching at home and you have a name to share, you're invited to share that name as well. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If you're mourning or your tradition to do so, you're invited to rise. We are on page 598. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirte, v'yimlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chaye deho Beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mibarach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei dekudashah b'rehu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'am iram be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who are mourning comfort the bereaved among us. Again, we say amen. We are going to turn to page 642. And Cantor, we will conclude with Al Shlosha Devarim, a wonderful song about teaching the most important things in Judaism that the world stands on.
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם, amen. You can shake a shaker if you like. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
Please rise for Kiddush. We're on page 123.
תודה.
בבקשה.
ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא וריגפן.
אמן.
ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת amen.
L'chaim. And if you have one of the little egg shaker things, you can drop it back in this basket, and we will start making our way over to the social hall if you're joining us for dinner. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbos. Kol hakavod. Hey, hey.
You're not going to say something?
About what?
Well, what happened just now? The teachers? Nothing. You're not going to say something?
Of course, congratulations. I cheered for you over there when they called you up. I cheered you. Wow, that is awesome. What time? That is awesome. I'm so proud of you. Did you thank Miss Tamara? Yes? I would save it, Tom, instead of always buying stuff.
Okay.
You need to save it. Honey bunny.
She got me $15.
That's awesome, Natan.
Now, do the regular teachers get more?
No.
But Kaya got up here. Is she a TA?
Hey, sweetie, you got an award. That's awesome. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it either. That was just the adults. That was so cool. Very cool. Hey, honey, here's my my purple talit.
I saw it now.
Where?
It's in the library.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
also my cover for that. 3, 2, 1. Do you have something to drink it with? What do you say? 3. Get your drink there.